So, if you guys remember, we made a video where we ranked Pixar movies from Toy Story to Luca, and we're gonna be doing another tier list today. But here's my actually there is no opening. But I mean there is there I don't.
Literally intro.
They're kind of. I guess there is an intro like to my name, but anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay, I was not trying to be weird for the intro, but I had no idea what to say. But what is up, you guys? Welcome to another video. I'm Jake.
Hello, I'm Yash.
Yeah, and this is actually part one of like a collaboration that we're both doing kind of together. We're going to be ranking MCU movies and shows from Iron Man to Shang-Chi and from WandaVision to Loki. And this is part one with my list, and part two it's going to have Josh's list, my guess.
Yeah.
All right. Here
Which
we
means
go.
this one I'm gonna let you kind of take more of the let you take the rails on this one a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, because like both of our lists are probably going to be either the same or maybe different, but anyways, let's get right to it. All right. So I guess we're gonna start with the movies here. So yeah, I guess we're gonna start with
Are we gonna go in order, or are we gonna go like from this first one all the way to the like we're going by row, or are we going by chronological order?
Forget this. We're not using this because I forgot to put the categories.
Okay.
Or maybe we can. I don't know. Just don't. Yeah, let's fix this. Hold on. Sorry about that, you guys. I have the list fixed with our categories.
All right then.
So let's start again. Let's start with Iron Man. That's just the first one, and Iron Man was like it's the godfather of the MCU, and he started the MCU, so I know where Iron Man's gonna go. Classic, is it? It is a classic. It's to introduce Tony Stark of the MCU, and like him becoming Iron Man, and of course, him making like the suits, and is also about his company, Stark Industries, a little bit, and yeah, you got anything to say about Iron Man, Josh?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a good like introductory, good introductory film. It's a nice little origin story for him. I think it sets up the world fairly nicely, and it's a story of a man, who's just, super, a story of an arrogant man who learns, his ways through trial and error and through, his own mistakes, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you could.
And it's a nice little solid story arc for him.
All right. Yeah. Oh wait, I'm seeing What If on here. I guess we are gonna be ranking What If too. Series still going on, but all right. Next movie. So we got the Incredible Hulk. Now, even though some characters from this movie they have been redeemed in the MCU, like I know Hulk has, and kind of Betty Ross has, and Abomination has, but yeah, so Incredible Hulk is an F for me because they tried to do the Hulk origin story, but just how it's written, there's just some actors that I liked in it. Ty Burrell was okay in this. That's his character, but still, this movie doesn't stand on its own. And Edward Norton, yeah, your Hulk is not really that good or interesting to watch, if I can be completely honest here. And this is probably one of the forgotten movies that a lot of people would forget that is a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, yeah, especially considering it's by this point we literally have an entire other guy who played him after this and then has consistently played him since then. So it's like,
Right.
when you have a casting choice that's that drastic, or how to put a casting change that's that drastic, like people are gonna forget it.
People are gonna forget. All right, so that's where Incredible Hulk goes. Next is gonna be Iron Man 2, which I was gonna put in classic, but it's not exactly a classic. I mean, it's a continued storyline of Iron Man, but it's very good. And we get Black Widow introduced in the MCU. We get War Machine for first time, and the villains, we get two villains, Justin Hammer and Whiplash, which are good Iron Man villains. And I just I like where this movie really goes after Iron Man. He revealed to the world he was Iron Man, and still there's like a company, Hammer Industries, which is trying to like compete with them. So yeah.
Yeah, this is actually the first one I saw in theaters. First one.
Oh, no.
So yeah, it was an interesting movie to start with, I think, or at least kind of interesting to start with.
Kind of.
Is it as good as I was remembering it? Maybe not, but like it was,
Well,
it was
it
decent.
it was. I remember it being good when I was a kid. I really liked it when I was a kid. But sometimes, like when you're growing up and when you get older, like you're gonna start like having different feelings about
No, yeah,
movies, or they might be the same. All right, so we got Thor next, which is, where is Thor? I'm not seeing. Oh, there he is. So Thor, this Thor movie now they try to introduce Thor, which was good. Oh my God, Natalie Portman, hot damn, as Jane Foster, and she's coming back as Jane Foster in Thor: Love and Thunder. But Thor, I mean, it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's like a classic or it's very good. It's good in general. And we get Thor in this, we get Loki. The cast is very good, but it's just good, but it's not the best Thor movie. It's not the best, but it's overall it's good. It's good, you know.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good way to describe it. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. I mean,
Is
there's
it?
one
Yeah.
movie which we will talk about later once we get into it, that it's part of that franchise, but we'll get to it later. I don't know. Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, this movie is very popular, so I think you go into classics First Avenger, because introduced to the super soldier, Captain America, of course. Oh my God, I gotta respect my woman in the MCU. Hot damn, we get Peggy Carter, played by Haley Atwell, which she does a good job. And yeah, yeah, and of course we get Red Skull for the first time in our first Infinity Stone, the Tesseract. And yeah, I enjoy watching this movie.
Yeah, it's a nice little. It's another origin story. I think a lot of the origin stories in the first couple of ones are like, okay, we look back on them as being good movies, but like, in terms of like sheer spectacle, it's, obviously they've made bigger and better movies since then. So it's, like, But it's a good one to start with, I think.
It's a good one.
Great one to start with.
All right. So we got our first Avengers movie. And where am I going to put it? Maybe you guys won't know, maybe you won't. But first Avengers movie is a classic. Brings together the whole team. Even they fix Hulk in the MCU. You know, it's played by Mark Ruffalo. Which, sorry, Edward Norton, but Mark Ruffalo is better as Hulk than you portrayed the Hulk. You know, I'm not saying you're bad as an actor, Edward Norton. It's just your Bruce Banner. It's not really that good. It's not that good. It's like just you're acting as a character, not really doing it for me. Let me just say that, not really doing it for me. And we get Loki.
Oh yeah,
we
I respect
get
it.
we get Loki as the main villain for his puny god. Puny god, which I love that scene.
Ah, yes.
And yeah, that's basically phase one. Now, Iron Man 3. Where is Iron Man 3 gonna go? Now, I mean, I've heard Iron Man 3 was good, and there's some controversy saying it wasn't good with the villain Mandarin, but I'm gonna talk about that later, not right now. But
We'll get a little more in depth there.
Go next to Iron Man 2. Very, very good. I love how this kind of story is. Even though I was kind of bummed out he destroyed all of his suits, but hey, he could still make more. He could still make more. He still is Iron Man. Like he's not gonna quit. And just a villain. Now the villain, first you're gonna expect that this guy is the villain for Iron Man 3, but really he's not the villain, and he's just an actor, you know, just like playing like a part.
Trevor Slattery, real actor.
Trevor Slattery.
Yeah. Actor from the Roller versus Theater.
So
I love that.
It's actually Aldrich Killian, who was like he was this guy who had like an idea for Tony Stark, but Tony would not listen to the idea. So that's how that origin story of that villain is basically. So yeah, but next film, which is Thor: The Dark World. Ugh. My God, a sequel that just doesn't do any justice to serve the first one, and just storyline. They don't do Malekith right, the main villain, and I don't think he should have looked like that. He kind of looks like he's supposed to be a Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah,
character.
yeah. I think that was the greatest disservice that the movie did, was just Malekith's portrayal.
Yeah, I mean this movie is also like the introduction to Reality Stone, but still, this movie is very slow. It might have been script 2, the script that they picked, and Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman in 1984. She was supposed to direct this movie, but then she dropped out, and they got what was his name? Scott something to direct this. Man, he didn't do too good, so that's unfortunate. So yeah, that's where Thor: Dark World goes. Man, I don't know if I would watch it all the time, and also if I don't know if I would watch it like ever and just skip the post credits scene, you know? All right. So what's next? What's next on our list here? We got, I think it's Captain America the Winter Soldier. Yeah, Captain America the Winter Soldier. So we get the Winter Soldier finally. So classic.
Yeah, pretty.
Story. a lot of people like this movie, you guys. A lot of people like this movie, and of course, we get more of Nick Fury in this. Even though he does make appearances in our movies, but this is the first time we are seeing him as like a main character almost. And yeah, and also it introduces Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, the mutants kind of, or the villains, one of the villains of Age of Ultron, which we are going to get the Age of Ultron like later. We still got a few more movies in phase 2 that we haven't put on my list yet that we still need to do. So Guardians of the Galaxy, which is next. Where's Guardians? There's a kind of get your love dun, da, 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 da. Go right there. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It was great. It's a story of like how like directed by the great James Gunn. It's a story about like how another superhero team, how they come together, although they don't see eye to eye yet, but they go on a team to try, a mission to try to get the Power Stone to stop Ronan, and that's how they bond. And it's
Yeah.
good. Groot, Rockets, like Drax, all the characters, even Star-Lord. We get Star-Lord's origin story, and of course Yondu. Yeah, it's another good one in the win here. And soundtrack is very good too.
Well,
You know,
that's a given right there. That's like, this is top tier soundtrack kind of movie that just has been a staple of James Gunn for quite a few years now since then.
right? Yeah. All right. So we got Avengers Age of Ultron, right? Because that's the
Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So not like, I wouldn't put it in like very very good or like any classics, but I'm gonna put it in good. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but you know, it's like it's not as strong as the first Avengers movies was. Although Ultron was very good, voiced by James Spader, good choice for Ultron, and just like Vision. It was good to introduce Vision, but I wish there was more screen time for Vision. Not gonna lie, it kind of, didn't get that much screen time, but got.
I don't necessarily know if he needed that much screen time. I mean, I think, but then again, I mean,
And although we lose Quicksilver in this, but that sets up like for more of Wanda's storylines in the future. And of course, Quicksilver is also part of X-Men and the Fox movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why he was killed off and why they did that. I don't know. I think there's more in the story, but I'm still not sure. And that was Aaron Taylor Johnson, not Tyler, Taylor Johnson, who was also in Kick-Ass, the two Kick-Ass movies, and he's also going to be Kraven the Hunter in that Kraven spinoff, which should be coming out, I think, next year.
Which will be interesting. Personally, I think Gerard Butler would have been a better choice because, if you've ever seen 300, remember him as Leonidas.
I would like him too, but Tom Holland was actually thinking of Jason Momoa, but he's already Aquaman.
Theoretically, that also could have worked. That also could have worked. There's actually a couple people.
It could have worked, but can't now because he's Aquaman with DC, So, all right, we got Ant-Man next, which has an origin story, and so I would watch a lot, and it introduced the introduction of Pym particles you go into classics, Ant-Man, my dude. You are Paul Rudd. You gotta love Paul Rudd and his comedy and Louise. This is the first time we get to see Louise and how he tells like all the stories. And he's just a fast talker that likes to talk. And he's got all these stories. And I like to, we got Hope Van Dyne. Of course, we got Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. Good choice, Marvel. Good choice as Hank Pym. Love him, and I'm excited to see him back in Quantumania. Of course, we got I think his name is Corey Stoller. If I'm not, it's Corey something. What's his name? Quickly, let me figure out his name. I think I might. Josh, you remember his last name?
Which one?
The guy who plays the Yellow Jacket.
Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh man.
I do know.
Yo, I can't remember.
I do know it's Corey something. Well,
all I know is that it's not Taylor.
It's not.
Because that's the guy from Slipknot. And it's not Feldman, because he's an entirely different actor.
Corey Stoll. So I was almost.
Oh, okay, Stoll.
I was almost correct, but yeah, Tony. And of course, we got Falcon making like a small appearance as a cameo. Calls him Tic Tac. That's their relationship. So yeah, and first MCU film to mention Spider-Man, kind of, but not
First, but
not barely, but little hints of like what's coming next. So Captain America: Civil War.
Oh yeah,
Possibly one of my all-time favorite movies of Phase 3. Phase 3 is very good for me. So Civil War, go up next to your other preceders from Captain America: First Avenger and Winter Soldier. This movie, I know it's like Avengers falling out, but still it's a good story. Introduces Black Panther and of course reintroduces my favorite Spider-Man into the MCU. Finally, he gets to be a part of this universe. And just so you know, Baron von Zemo is a good villain. Although they don't win, but that's sometimes the villains have to get their way. They don't have to win like all the time. And in this movie, it's a little bit of a tie between Iron Man and Captain America winning in the fight, and literally Zemo gets away. So that means that the villain kind of wins this movie. All right, next one, which I'm trying to. What is the next one? Who's Doctor?
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange.
Doctor
Next.
Strange.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that sequel. So Doctor Strange, for the origin stories, it's a classic because just this origin story of how he gets into the car wreck. He messes up his hands, and the Ancient One finds him and teaches him the mystic arts. How he becomes Doctor Strange and how he wields the Eye of Agamotto. And just, Damaru, I have come to bargain. I come to bargain that this deserves to be in the classics area of the MCU films. If I can make that joke, Josh. If I can make that joke, I'm allowed.
Okay, I didn't know that's how bargains worked, but okay.
Well, they don't have to be, but I want to make that reference just for right now. So. You got anything to say about Doctor Strange, Josh?
Doctor Strange is actually one of my personal favorites. It was I actually, when this movie came out, I was like, wow, I'm so happy they're going in this direction.
The visual effects
he's such like he's kind of he has worked with all of the Avengers, but in a weird sort of way, he's kind of in his own little world.
Yeah.
He is almost his own thing in terms of you know, the Marvel universe, not just the MCU, but just the comics and everything else as a whole. He's kind of his own thing.
Right. Visual effects were really good in this movie too. I want to point that out. They
Yeah.
were very good. And I'm excited for Doctor Strange to come back in Multiverse of Madness, and of course No Way Home, which we should be getting not too soon in December, you know, not later or too soon, you know. All right, so the 2017 era. Now that year we had 3 Marvel movies that were released, and 3 or 4. Was it 3 or 4? I think it was 3. It might have been 3. So
Yeah, it was 3.
So
You know,
now we got another Guardians movie. Although, some fans have some controversy saying like it's not good and they like it better than Guardians 1, but this is my favorite franchise, so I have no hate, or I think differently and I have my own opinion. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, just because the daddy issues and Kurt Russell's in it, goes into very good. And of course the awesome mix in this one is very good too, soundtrack. And we get more characters. We get Stallone and this as a Starhawk, which I wonder if we are going to keep seeing Starhawk in the MCU in future projects.
Maybe.
There's
Who knows? Maybe.
There's a question right there. And just the relationship between Peter Quill and Yondu, they have that father figure kind of relationship, even though Ego is really Peter's father, but their relationship is not really good in that movie. But he's better when he's with Yondu. He has a better father figureship with Yondu than he does with his real father, for being honest here. And just, and baby Groot was cute, super cute, until Porgs came along in Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things.
Yeah, those things.
Those are old bird things.
You got any comments on Volume 2, Josh, before we get to the next one here?
It's a great continuation of the first movie. I think the soundtrack for the first movie is better, but that doesn't detract anything from this. I mean, this movie had Surrender by Cheap Trick, which I love that song.
That's a good song.
And of course there's Brandy by Looking Glass. So that's
Mr.
classic.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Oh yes, that's the other one.
My Sweet Lord by George Harrison.
George Harrison, that song. I remember listening to that song as a kid.
The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, I love that song. Holy crap, I love that song.
And I know there's more, but Father and Son by Cat Stevens also got me in my feelings there, and I started to cry like when you started.
And of course, Kurt Russell is, personally one of my favorite actors of all time. Kurt Russell did an outstanding job as Ego, going from that guy who was in all those cult films like Escape from New York and John Carpenter's The Thing and Big Trouble in Little China, Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that other one? Overboard?
Might be.
Or something like that. It was a movie, it was not the Adam Sandler one, but it was a movie that had him, and then it was a movie with him in it, and I can't remember what it was called. But it was something
I know it's not Sky High, Josh. I know it's not Sky High.
It's not Sky High, I know.
It's not. It's another movie. But anyway,
but anyway, he was great in this, and I think he was an outstanding addition to the MCU, especially in terms of villains, because Yeah.
So Guardians Volume 2. That's where you go. Spider-Man Homecoming. My boy, we get my boy's first solo movie in the MCU. My boy. But I don't know if I would have chosen this poster because it looks busy, like in this poster. It looks very like busy than how like the other posters look, but still that doesn't make me think differently about where I put him on the list because it's a classic because I mean it's not an origin story, but as we've seen in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, but it's a good introduction to Spider-Man, like how like his everyday life is as a high schooler and how it is as Spider-Man, how he juggles his life being a high school kid and how he has to be a superhero by the end too. And him trying to like become an Avenger. Oh man, Michael Keaton as the Vulture he's very good as Vulture. And then I got a question too. Is Vulture our sixth villain in No Way Home? That's another good question to think about because I think he could still come back because he's in jail currently. And just a story of how he wants to become an Avenger, but really he figures out he's just not ready yet. He still has a lot more responsibilities he needs to take on. Yeah, and I don't know if you hear that, but Parker also agrees with me, my dog. Yeah. All right. Thor Ragnarok. Thor 3. Oh man, better than your first two preceders. Very good. I was thinking about classic, but no, very, very good because this is where Thor's arc kind of becomes better in the MCU. And we finally see Satur played by motion captured by Taika Waititi, directed but voiced by Clancy Brown, Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs.
They're back! They're back, I tell you! I saw them with my own eyes! The hooks! The hooks! How about a mint? The hooks! The hooks!
Can you make that to go?
You don't know how lucky you are. The hooks!
Surtur, my guy.
Surtur,
the big man himself, who basically is Ragnarok incarnate.
basically is the devil in Marvel. Basically is Satan, if I'm allowed to say that, kind of.
Unless you count a certain character whose name starts with an M, who everyone keeps mentioning. But,
oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's a good thing to think about, but
I'm done. Keep going.
Just that fight with Thor and Hulk was good too. Yes, I know him. We know each other. He's a friend from work. Which is one of the best lines. And actually, trivia about that line. So that line was actually somebody from Make-A-Wish Foundation actually told Chris Hemsworth to say that in this movie as like, I don't know if he had like cancer or something, but that was one of his like wishes, like for this movie, and it was used for this movie. That line, which I thought was a good line. It's funny, gets me in the giggles there, and of course, Jeff Goldblum as Grandmaster is a good choice.
Oh yeah,
and I can't wait to see him argue with Benedict Del Toro as the collector because they're both brothers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, both brothers. And also Korg was good too. That's Taika Waititi. And this movie's way better than Thor: The Dark World. I definitely would pick to watch this movie over Thor: The Dark World because it's excellent as a story. So, all right. Anywho, let's move on. Got Avengers Infinity War, which another classic, another one. Even though we lost like a lot of our characters, I mean, like the last part are some of our favorite characters, but not all of them. Not all of them, but just everyone who was in it, the whole story, and they were able to pull it off and fit a lot of characters in one movie to make it make sense, even though it was hard because just the screen time and like the arcs they could use, which characters they can put together, like Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. That is a good, and even the Guardians. That's a good thing, like to put together. Even though Falcon was supposed to be in that group until they decided to have Spider-Man be a part of that group. And there's Captain America, Black Widow, Falcon, and Hulk and Black Panther, and you have people in Wakanda and Vision, and Scarlet Witch was a part of that group. So we got a little bit of different groups. So they're not actually together, but they are still Avengers, but they're in different sides or factions. I was sad to see my boy Spider-Man go. I was crying during that scene, that dusting scene. Like everyone was crying. Even Joey, who I saw with, was crying, couldn't handle it. Even though I didn't know they weren't gonna go, but Spider-Man I knew wasn't gonna go because he's got a second movie confirmed. Like he can't go yet. That was Infinity War. Thanos, of course. Josh Brolin's great as Thanos. Probably the best villain in the MCU, if I'm allowed to say that. Just how his personality is and what he wants. Like he wants to have all the power in the universe. His objective is to get all the Infinity Stones to be powerful, and his like obsession is death. So just
Pretty much.
And Josh, any more details you would like to say?
Yeah, it was one again. It's like you said, it's kind of the culmination. It's the first culmination of everything that led up to that point. The different dynamics that they set up were really entertaining, and it led up to a it's the movie about the villain, and it's really well done.
Absolutely.
From that perspective, it gives a lot of insight into his desires and his motivations, and also it leads up to one of the most insane endings of any movie ever, just in terms of like how it affected everybody.
Yes. Were you crying too? Were you crying too, Josh, when you were
A little bit, yeah. I was like, really? They just killed off all of the characters that we barely know. Like, why'd you do that?
All right. That's
and
where
they kept all the OGs, and it was like, wait, why are they doing this again?
they're doing it for a reason, but we'll talk about that later. But as where Infinity War goes, Josh, I dumb goofed again. I missed the movie that came
You missed the movie.
before Infinity War. Black Panther. How can I forget about this movie? So this movie, get in there with the classics, because our first African American superhero movie. Chadwick Boseman's performance as Black Panther is very strong. Even though I think they did took some inspirations from The Lion King, like how T'Challa goes into the, I don't know what you call it, the vibranium world with the purple tree, and talks to T'Chaka, his father. Kind of reminds me of how Simba talks to Mufasa, asking what he should do.
Which, of course, Lion King is kind of an offshoot of Hamlet. So, I mean, it's all Shakespeare.
Yeah. And also, Michael B. Jordan, my boy Michael B. Jordan, has been redeemed from being a Human Torch, which you weren't bad as the Human Torch, but probably not the best character I would say you should play in a Marvel movie. We're not talking about Fantastic Four 2015. That's another movie that exists, and it sucks. don't watch it.
It's a movie that exists, but we prefer to not.
We're
We
we're
prefer to not say that it exists.
we're not talking about it, but
We don't talk about it.
oh my God, Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger. It's like, I know that this movie got like nominated and won some Academy Awards, but I really think Michael B. Jordan should have been nominated for like at least like best supporting actor for Black Panther, because just how his character was, and he was a good villain in this, you know. Like villain.
I think the motivations were all there for him.
Yeah.
I think the motivation was pretty clearly, left out there, and it worked.
Yeah. Kind of like the reverse, but like Scar, but Eric Killmonger Stevens is actually T'Challa's cousin and Scar was like the uncle of Simba. So a little switcheroo with that, but we can't compare it to that. All right. We got Captain Marvel, which is the next movie. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy between Brie Larson and about like how like it's how people think it's not good or not strong enough. Well, guess what? We're not here to put hate on Brie Larson. Guess what? I don't hate Brie Larson. Josh is hate Brie Larson. We're not gonna hate on Brie Larson in this video or ever. So this movie, hate on me all you want. I don't give a shit. This goes in classic, because just how Brie Larson was as Captain Marvel. I knew she was perfect as Captain Marvel. And it was just the Skrulls introduced, like the Skrulls in the MCU, because they were in the comics like with Fantastic Four, so first, but we think they're the villain, but really they're not. But Jan Rog is actually the villain. Yeah. Anyway, I like this movie because it was great, and we got to see Nick Fury, and the origin of how he got the eye patch was good. The eye patch, it's a good thing to see, and just how it took place in the 90s, and just how they had a blockbuster was good too, because Blockbuster really doesn't exist that much anymore.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying that because I'm not. There still is one up in Canada.
Like Oregon State, somewhere up in there.
Canada, Oregon State, somewhere. Like that. So, Josh, your thoughts on Captain Marvel?
I mean, was it? I mean, I thought it was okay when I saw it.
Okay.
Again, I don't have any hate necessarily on Brie Larson. I don't have any
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they like flipped the script a little bit, because it was like, in the comics, the Skrulls were also villains, but they kind of took a turn of like.
But they kind of like made them like good in this, kind of like they had a purpose of why they're doing this.
Because Ronan's also a Kree, so they had to establish that, because the Kree making them villains had to make sense, because
Yeah, it did. So that's where Captain Marvel
was
goes,
okay.
and I do love the songs that they used in the movie, which were good, like 90s songs from the 90s. So it's good that
Yes.
they went on that era. Avengers Endgame, probably one of the best movies. I'm sorry, Iron Man, move over. Avengers Endgame, you go right there. It's a classic. It is a masterpiece. It is like you're watching like a painting, or you're seeing art. It's like it's a story of like how like heroes fall and how they will like come together to rise again, to stop Thanos from Infinity War, and to save all the loved ones that they lost in the snap, to try and get everything back. Good lines, although I think a lot of people thought that there might have been some fan theories that could have happened in this, because I did predict that they were gonna time travel to get the time stones, but that still doesn't matter. I love this movie so much. I would watch it so many times if I had to. And I really think it should have won that Academy Award. I'm still mad that it did not win that Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, because the visuals were very good in this. So they should have, that Academy Award deserves to go to Avengers Endgame, or it should have been Best Picture. Just how the story was and how all the acting was. I don't know. That's dumb. Like the Academy Awards dumb goofed that year for Endgame. And just we got some callbacks from like, quotes and like movies and like moments kind of a little bit, because they time traveled, but they're seen differently. They went back to the first Avengers movie, like Guardians and Thor: The Dark World, kind of a little bit. Use some archive footage from Natalie Portman, Jane Foster, who was in Asgard, and footage from Guardians of the Galaxy. Although we do see some new footage of Thanos and his Black Order. And just that, oh man, that fight, that was the fight of the century, that final battle scene with all those characters. I think we all knew that something like badass like that was going to happen for this movie. Or we were thinking it would. I cried during the death scenes again. Black Widow and Iron Man. The I am Iron Man was his last words. And just how it ends, but it's not over. Like the story will continue, for more. It was great. Josh, before I start crying again, do you got anything to say about it? Endgame?
I mean, it did break a lot of grounds.
It did.
I mean, in terms of like, in terms of the culture, in terms of the like, and when I mean the culture, I mean like our collective culture. It became a huge, it was a huge deal when those trailers came out, and then when the movie finally,
They only released 2, which was good because you don't want to give a lot away for this movie. So
I think
we were kind of blindfolded for this movie for those 2 trailers, kind of.
a little bit. And I think, it's while I personally do believe like the story as a whole is pretty good, I do think it's a little bloated, but like I think it makes up for it in like the last hour. Absolutely, because there's so many cathartic moments that happen in like the last hour.
Right.
Like even like if you didn't have that big fan service thing at the very end, there were still enough moments in that final hour of the movie that were cathartic, that felt like, oh, you're feeling something, because it just
I had the fan service once Captain America finally was worthy in that whole coming back scene.
yeah. And it had a lot of little different ways of which the story came back around.
Yeah, I mean, this is not Josh's video, but he'll explain more in his tier list video, which I'm also a part of. But I don't know if Josh would think the same, but this is what I feel, and probably one of the best MCU movies of all time so far. Well, one of them, because you guys see my list so far of what I think. Oh my god, I forgot. I forgot in our Marvel movie after Infinity War. Second time I dumb goofed in this video. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No.
It's a good sequel. And we get Wasp in action for the first time. We get Bill Foster, but not as Goliath in this movie, but maybe in a future Ant-Man project or anything. Lawrence Fishburne, you're on the call. I would love to see you back as Goliath. But it's good. I mean, I want to put it as a classic. It's not it's not really strong like enough to be a classic, but just I love all the scenes, and of course that scene where Scott Lang was under house arrest. I'm sure that's what you guys were feeling when we were in quarantine last year. That's how you guys were feeling, probably playing Rock Band or, reading The Fault in Our Stars or doing all the things he did, like in that whole montage. Yeah, but
Oh yeah, those little
it's
comedic moments of
it's
him.
good.
Yeah.
Ghost is, I mean, they say she's a villain, but really she has a purpose. So maybe I would say she's like kind of an anti-villain, kind of, or anti-hero. I think really that Sonny Birch guy was supposed to be the main villain, but a lot of us were thinking that Ghost was going to be the main villain, but really it's Sonny Birch, which really was made for the movie, not really a villain in the comics, I think. But what do you have to say, Josh?
I mean, Ant-Man, it's weird. I do think Ant-Man's better, but for some reason, like, Ant-Man and the Wasp is more memorable to me. I don't know why. Because I don't think it's better than the first Ant-Man movie. It's not.
No.
It really isn't better than the first one.
I mean,
It's for some reason it sticks out in my head more. I don't know why.
No, I mean I agree with you. I mean it's good. I'll give you that. It's good, but it's not better than the first one.
Like I for some bizarre reason I find myself watching it more often. I've seen it more often, so I'm just like, interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
But that's me. It's got
Right.
Yeah.
We got opinions. All right. So Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man sequel, and we get to see Spider-Man in different locations that we never got to see before, and just I want to put this as a classic, as we don't have No Way Home yet. We know that's gonna be a classic, but we don't have it yet. But it goes into the very good next to probably sequel movies,
Really?
We got Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. We got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Thor Ragnarok. Well, it's a good sequel. I'll give you that. It's a good sequel, and just how they handled Mysterio as a villain was good. Even though his backstory is not exactly as the comics, but I love how he had like a hate against Tony Stark because he stole like an idea he had, Barf, the Edith like glasses and like the drones kind of. If you can say that, the drones. Yeah. Although like we see more Peter Parker in this and not really him as Spider-Man. Well, there are moments in this Spider-Man. That one scene where he's like where Mysterio is messing with them. I love that scene. Okay, I love that scene. And I also love that final scene where he's blindfolded, but it's like, come on, Peter Tingle, when he runs out of webs. I also like that one. So, I mean, the Elementals, they got Spider-Man villains, they got Hydro Man, Molten Man, Sandman, but they're not really the actual villains, but they're portrayed as elementals in this movie, kind of. They don't really talk, but just how they're just portrayed like as kind of like as monsters, kind of like how like Godzilla is, or just like monsters that are like villains make, and they don't have dialogue. They were good, They were just they were good. And Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson. Bitch, you've been to space. That was one of his best lines. Bitch, please, you've been to space.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god. Yeah. He's trying to push Peter, but step up, but really he doesn't want to. Because he can't be the next Iron Man. And of course we got Jon Favreau coming back, because if he's a bodyguard of Iron Man, he should be a bodyguard for Spider-Man, or like mentor kind of figure. And I am not mad that the Happy and Aunt May ship did not happen. I'm not disappointed. I do find it funny though that was going to like be the point, but I did not get mad that they did not started dating. But that was a good like that was some good jokes that they had for that movie. Oh my god, and I blanked out the end, the first post-credit scene where Spider-Man's identity has been revealed. And this is why we have No Way Home now. This is why we have No Way Home. Now we're gonna figure out like what's gonna happen. Oh my god, how is Flash gonna feel that one of his idols is actually the guy he hates in high school, Peter Parker?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're gonna have to find out. You got any notes on Far From Home, Josh?
I mean, I thought it kind of started off as like, it almost felt like, because you could definitely feel where the halfway mark of the movie was. That's how I saw it, because like, okay, I can clearly define, there's a first half of the movie and there's a second half of the movie. And and I think everyone knows which part of the movie was like that halfway mark.
Right.
If you know, you know. That is if you've seen it before.
Right.
And I think it was kind of interesting how it, obviously the whole like people going into this, people knew that like, wait, why is Mysterio being,
Right.
good? Why is he being a good person? We know he's not a good person.
Oh.
We know he's a villain from the comics, and I think the way they kind of pulled that off was just fairly well executed.
Yeah, I think Mysterio was handled well. Although I did feel it was I was like, no, this is bullshit. He's not gonna be a hero. He messes with Spider-Man in the comics and the TV shows. Like we can't have this like throughout the whole movie. There's got to be a catch, and there was. So 2020 we were supposed to get some movies, but it was a bust because of the pandemic, and we took a break from Marvel Studios. We haven't gotten anything from Marvel Studios, although we were supposed to, but due to the pandemic, they had to push them back. So I know there's some Disney Plus shows, but we'll do that after we're done with the movies. But all right. This one was the most overhyped for Phase 4, which I thought could have been suitable as a Phase 3 movie, although Phase 3 kind of still feels like a full phase already. But Black Widow is very good. I want to put it in classic, even though it's an origin story. Oh, no, I did not mean to. There you go. But it's not. I mean, if you guys think it's a classic, then okay, it's a classic. But I don't think it's strong enough as a classic, but it does show like Black Widow's like origin story of how she becomes like an assassin, and how she becomes a Black Widow, and how her life is kind of like it's kind of a lie because kind of her family kind of. Like her family, like our spies. Red Guardian. David. What was it? Was it David Hirsch? Not David Hirsch. Why am I forgetting names all of a sudden?
David Harbour.
Harbour. Thank you, Harbour. David Harbour was good as Red Guardian, and I like how he was obsessed with Captain America. I thought that was funny. And of course, Yelena. The sister was very funny. Taskmaster, I was not thinking of Taskmaster to be a female, but that's what happened. I'm not angry about it, but it's an interesting choice, Interesting choice. But so I'm excited for see where Yelena's story will go after Black Widow. I know she's probably gonna be the new Black Widow since Natasha is deceased in the MCU, and she's also in the Hawkeye Disney Plus series at some points, which will be out on November 24th. Just so you guys, if you're wondering when Hawkeye's coming out, and why don't we have a trailer? What If is still going on. Think about that. What If is still going on? Maybe they'll release it after What If, or probably during the finale of What If. They're probably going to drop something. I feel like they are, but I don't know. Anyways, that was my thoughts for Black Widow. Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a basic Marvel movie. I thought, and it worked. It worked where it needed to work. I think in some cases, where like of course, Red Guardian and Yelena were like the two best characters in the movie, and they worked really well, and they actually like heightened the movie to a great extent.
Right.
Right, and then of course, Ray Winstone did his job as Dreykov, I think was his name. He did his job. Like, I like Ray Winstone. I think he's pretty good. And then I mean, it's served as its own like basic like espionage kind of Marvel film that you would expect. It's like your basic down to earth Marvel movie, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. We're not talking about that Black Widow lawsuit that happened a while back, which I don't think it would be necessary if you didn't put it on Disney Plus too with Premiere Access, because think again, Marvel movies deserve to be watched in theaters. You get to experience it with like your friends, your family, or other fans that love it as much as you do. And I don't think they handled that lawsuit well. Now Scarlett Johansson's not with Disney anymore, and that also happened with I think it happened with Cruella, and how they fixed that lawsuit was Cruella's going to have a sequel film.
Huh.
So, yeah. Anyways, that was Black Widow. Now, we got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is the recent one that came out recently this month. And origin story, very good. And the villain, we finally get a real Mandarin. So, Josh, you're going to like this. You're going to be cheering your ass off. But classic. It's a classic.
That's right.
It's because we got a lot of characters in. Hey, you gotta support Asian heritage. Stop the hate on Asians. This movie is like very, very good Asian culture. Just fight scenes. Bruce Lee of Marvel. Oh man, and we get Trevor Slattery again, even though he's not supposed to be the real Mandarin. Although it's funny we got him in this one too, even though he's in Iron Man 3, but he wasn't the real villain. He was just an actor trying to pretend to be the villain for 10 rings, but we got the real 10 rings. And Abomination has been redeemed in the MCU, which I kind of like, because think about Abomination's gonna be in She-Hulk. Abomination should be redeemed in the MCU because he was in the Incredible Hulk, but just how he was as a villain, not as good as like other MCU movies or Marvel movies are. Josh, since this is your all-time favorite Marvel movie, what's your say on Shang-Chi?
Well, since this is my favorite MCU movie so far, I mean, oh God, it's hard because it's still in theaters as of this recording, so it's kind of hard to not really want to spoil anything.
I heard in like 45 days they're gonna release it on Disney Plus, like after it's in.
Okay.
Theaters, so I heard that.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, it's good they did. It's good that they did not put Premiere Access on this movie. Thank you for not. So I do not want to spend money just to see this and just watch it in theaters like everyone else,
Yeah. But yeah, just what we've said before, just the fight scenes, the villain, all the whole family dynamic, literally this movie is so good. And it has everything in it. Like, you go into this movie and it's like it's more than just a martial arts movie. It's also a family drama. It's also a little bit of an espionage, but not quite. And it's also a fantasy epic.
That's it.
Especially that third act. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The third act is
no
so good.
spoilers, but it was
The
very
third act
good.
is so good. I mean,
Check out-
objectively, yeah.
Oh, you guys, check out our. We're not going to talk about it live. If you guys want us to talk about it, go check out our review for Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. Links in the description. We did that. Disney Plus shows, which I didn't think we were going to rank these because we only have like 4 of them that are out, so I didn't think it'd be appropriate to rank the shows yet. But this list has them, so if they have them, I guess we're ranking them. I guess we got to do that. So WandaVision was the first one, and first shown in the MCU for Phase 4, and Black Widow was supposed to be like the first give of Phase 4, but it wasn't yet. So because movie theaters were not open still, but WandaVision as a show, it's very good, and just how it plays out, and everything's not what it seems. It's good. Agatha Harkness, great film. Hold on, I will be right back. Sorry about that. I had to go deal with something, but anyways, where was I? We were talking about WandaVision. Agatha Harkness, great villain. We finally get her, and there's a lot of Josh and I. We check out all of our WandaVision reviews, but we were theorizing, Josh, Joey, and I, that Mephisto might be a part of the series, but really he's not.
Oh.
That was just a hoax and like a theory, kind of a little bit.
Well, that was something that everyone was thinking about for a long time. You're like, oh my god, Mephisto's coming. Mephisto. Everything, Mephisto. And it's like, well,
yeah, and
we might have to give it a little bit more time.
maybe. And I don't think we will see the regular Vision, but we will see the White Vision probably soon, like in the future, because
yeah,
that's like an arc from the comics, like White Vision, comics, and they finally do it, and just I want to put it as a classic, but it's very good because finally. Hot damn, we get that Scarlet Witch comic book accurate costume. We finally get that. And Wanda is finally called Scarlet Witch. She finally gets the title. And that was for WandaVision. That's where I put WandaVision. Josh, it's probably gonna put WandaVision somewhere different. I don't know. Find out in his video, but anyway, let's move on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was the one after, which I thought was a classic because, well, here's why. Let me explain myself. So just like Falcon and like Winter Soldier's like Bucky and Sam's dynamics of like how it's like the odd couple kind of feel like they're not, why can't we be friends? Like they're working together, but they're not exactly friends yet. They still have like a rivalry. They're still trying to bury the hatchet, but they haven't yet. Sam Wilson as Captain America. I mean, we had to wait long in the series for that, even though we did have John Walker as Captain America, which that is from the comics, but just how he was as Captain America, you suck, dude. No. And finally, Sam comes Captain America, and just it was the skull team. I forget.
Flag Smashers.
Flag Smashers. Thank you, Flag Smashers. Why the hell?
Yeah.
I forget. Flag Smashers were good as villains. Although Carly, I did feel kind of sorry for her, but what she's doing it's still wrong. It's still wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's like, again, different sides of extremism that are presented within context of the very political world that we live in. It's it's important. It's important to bring up. It's
All right, we're just about almost just about done with the shows here. Then we'll close off the video. But next we got Loki, which starts off. How it starts off, it's like Loki did something wrong, and we learn more about the timeline and like the time variance like association. But then the multiverse is open, so Loki is also a classic. Because Loki, he is a god of mischief, but he's not all that bad. He does have a little bit of good in him, although he does cause trouble, And I thought it was like a strong choice to make a series about him, because he was in all three of the Thor movies, but we don't really get to learn about him that much, because just think about every movie. They can't really touch everything. It's like either 2 hours or 1 hour. This, like, if you get a series, you get more depth about like every single character. So series, this is good. Why we have series. So Loki, I like how the multiverse is open, and at the end of like series, and of course it's confirmed for season 2. But the multiverse is open, so that means we got the multiverse now. Not saying we're gonna get Toby and Andrew and No Way Home. Those are still theories and rumors. That's probably not gonna happen. So can you please stop saying Andrew Garfield is in Spider-Man No Way Home, because he's gonna keep denying it. Can we please stop saying that Tobey Maguire is gonna be a part of Spider-Man No Way Home, because he's probably gonna say no too. So just wait and be patient. We got a trailer, but we don't actually know if all 3 Spider-Mans are going to show up. Probably not for this movie, but maybe in the future. I would love to see that, but probably not right now. Right now is not a good point to do that. And Josh, your comments about Loki before we do What If?
it was a great it was a great study on a character who literally went from being the main villain in like 2 different movies all of a sudden to being the protagonist. And having he used to have all the power in the world from those movies as the villain. Now he's kind of coming to terms with himself and making new revelations along the way. It was a nice little twist on that idea.
And what if?
Oh yeah.
What? I'm sorry.
What if?
Yeah, what if? What if? What if goes in it? No. What if it goes in there? No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just screwing around with you. No, what if this go get up there. Go get up there in classics, because just the animation, just how they base it off of the comic book storyline. What if it's very good, and just to see Peggy Carter becoming the captain instead of Steve Rogers, good choice. T'Challa as Star-Lord, I probably wouldn't have guessed or would have thought of, but it's a good thought, and they introduced the zombie storylines, and just the animation is very good, since like Marvel, they're still doing animation, but this is like the first time in the MCU where they do animation like projects, and it's good, and I'm excited to see season 2. Although season 1 is gonna end at some point in October, but it's good. Even one of our friends, shout out to Robert Malave from Company. I was just talking to him like a few days ago about the series. He likes this more than the other Disney Plus Marvel shows. This is like his favorite. So shout out to you, Robert. because you love What If. So shout out to Robert.
Yeah.
Although there are more shows, so be careful what you say, because there is more coming. All right. Anyways, let's close off the video. That was my list. Thank you guys for watching. Although it's not over yet, because sometime this week I will be on Josh's channel for part 2, where he has his list, which is probably different than mine.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm probably going to look over my footage and start editing my videos now. But hit subscribe if you're new here, like, favorite, and share. Oh yeah, and also comment down below what I should rank next. Since we've done Pixar movies and we've done the Marvel and their TV shows. Tell me what I should rank next. Should I rank like other like Disney movies, or should I rank the Pixar shorts? Should I rank the DC extended universe?
Maybe.
Or anything else, let me know, or let us know. We got our What If episodes. We got not all the Turner and Hooch like currently, since we still got episode 8, which I need to watch fully, so we'll do that tomorrow. Got that. I'm gonna do a Matrix reaction to new movie. I'm gonna do it by myself because I think Josh is probably gonna do his own reaction for his channel.
I might. I kind of already saw it, but like I might. Who knows?
It might. Yeah.
Maybe.
And I got some things from Avengers Campus, which I'm gonna make separate videos on my SpiderBot and my web shooter. That those will be separate videos. And oh yeah, and go check out our review for Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings, which we did recently. And don't forget to subscribe to Josh. It's part 2 of our. If you want to see part 2 of our collab video of ranking Marvel shows from the MCU and Marvel shows from the MCU shows, Josh is gonna have part 2, not mine. So if you want to go see part 2, that's on his channel. This is part 1, and he's also gonna have his Army of the Dead review, Venom 2, trailer 2 reaction. Yeah, I think that's it for now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time, and we'll see you in the future. Peace. And don't forget to rock on. And be safe out there. Oh yeah, and you guys, don't forget to vote no for Gavin Newsom to be recalled as governor. Don't forget.
Well, that's for the people who are living in California. You don't have to. You don't have to tell. If there's people who are watching from like other countries, they don't care. You don't have to. You don't have to tell them that. That's for the California people.
Yeah, but still, don't forget to vote. I don't know if it's gonna be done like by the time this video is out, but I'm just still saying, don't forget to vote. All right, people in California. All right, bye guys. Or I still got some assignments to do, and I need to edit these videos that we just done, and yeah, and we'll do some more tomorrow. All right. Bye, all.